Free Worldwide Headquarters in Houston, Texas. With host Jeremy. And B-Boy Moy.
Yep.
My name is Moy.
It's
good, man. Where we been?
We
In the country, in the world.
Yeah.
Always live.
Today,
Yeah.
And to be in the space,
Yeah,
you know
come
what
on,
I'm
man.
saying? Finally get the cat in a special room that everybody's been in the key.
Kick, bro. You took off your shoes and everything.
Dude, I had like dad shooting today, man. Like you go in
Yeah.
all day, like and hauling stuff around and doing random CR, bro. I feel
Amen.
dusted,
Amen.
baby. You know,
people.
cool. So I essentially started, I guess, DJing first was kind of my introduction into hip hop. Enough, I grew up basically back in like the early '90s. So my first real introduction to music production was Miami bass scene. And so one of the first things that I actually interacted with was the Miami bass scene and the New Orleans scene. So my kind of like forays into everything. So we're from the South, and a lot of the hip hop I was listening to was, you know, very much more dance oriented, and you know, bass. You know, but then the heavy bass in the trunk was like kind of almost, you know, a thing that kind of stayed in my own production technique. Also, you know, within my origin from kind of just the sound that I gravitated to early on. And so it made sense when I started getting into Houston hip hop. It's like, all right, you know, I already bass sentiments and everything else like that. But then I noticed too when I became a DJ, the diversity in sound that actually existed just in Southern hip hop.
Yeah.
People, you know, so New Orleans sounds to, you know, Miami Beach, all the way up to like Timbaland, Neptunes, Teddy Riley, so Rump Shaker, all those albums, you know, all that music was all stuff that influenced me. My foundation early on.
So where are you originally from, though?
Northwest Houston. So, you know, I started in St.
Right now.
You better watch out what you say, bro. I got people chilling on the couch right there. You don't even know. Crazy little Asian. What happened?
Crazy enough, West Houston back area, it was the majority Latino and Asian, you know, especially back in the 90s. So hip hop and especially breaking was big here, especially when I was in elementary, middle school. So we already was in our clubs, and around the same time I started getting into DJing, I started getting into breakdancing as well. So everything kind of just flowed together.
Yeah, so
you
got
dancing first.
Some little b-boy skills up in your
Man, dude, a little bit, half of a UFO. Yeah, so all the stuff, you know, kind of, you know, came together, and then you had, especially kind of going from all the influences on the north side and all the different cultures coming together. You had people coming from, you know, different parts of, like, say for instance, you know, around like the Midwest also, because I had Chicago come through. So my introduction to was via a little mixtape back in like 94, 95. But it was still unreleased, and these songs kept getting released until I passed. And cassette tape, and I said a cassette tape before You Believe In was the actual track that I remember off of that mixtape, and I think that came out on Till the End of Time, that same kind of compilation they had put it out. But it was wild because I was getting all these introductions to hip hop so early on. I was living on that side of town. So then when I moved to the southwest side, well now the west side, so A-League, when I was 13, was during that era it was straight Houston music. So everybody from the south side was bringing everything over there, yo. Zigmo, SUC, that's the whole thing. So funny enough, when I think about my progression to boom early on, that didn't actually happen for me. Honestly, until I got introduced to it around this time, like 106 in Park and those shows started to blow up, you know, in the 2000s.
Early,
so familiar with it, you know what I'm saying? Especially like Midnight Marauders and Tribe was my favorite group, like when I was like maybe 9, 10 years old, you know, so I would Tribe all the way from Beats and Rhymes all the way up to Love Me. And me and my brother followed that, you know, that was where I formed my ear. I didn't even know who Dilla was back then, but like I was listening to beats, so I had Miami-based stuff and, you know, all the other influences from the South. There was this Midwest sound that I didn't identify, like, oh, they're from New York. So I'm not thinking anybody from the Midwest producing things. New York in my mind. I find out about this guy named, I'm like, yo, what the heck? Find out he's been making Anarchy, the Slum Village stuff, and all the stuff I started to get into.
I think to this day, there's a lot of people that don't know about Dilla and what he produced.
Exactly, because it was so vast, but then also he had time periods where his style fluid. The a long time was with Tribe and JD, and then Dilla later on. So it was almost the sound for him too. Crazy. And that's amongst like Manny Fresh, Timbaland, Pharrell, Dr. Dre, the earlier influences. Even like Luke and Tulum, the producer was for all the Miami-based stuff. It was, you know, heading to that sound then, but it was just about that soulfulness. You know what I'm saying?
So how long have you been like producing music?
Dude, I've got my first program, the first version of Fruity Loops. Loops, like #1 back in 1999.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and I was DJing
20 years, man.
That. It was 20 years.
20 years.
Oh my God. Man, my first I didn't get until 2000 and I want to say 2006. I was and like mini
Please free loops.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was around time that I got my first CD because, to be honest with you, like I was intimidated first because it was like coming in from my era where it was frowned upon to use for production.
Yes.
You talk to the cats, during like late '90s, early 2000s, there was had like all women in studios. Of course, you come with a computer, a lot of respect.
Yeah.
What, like 10 years later, your $100,000 studio is now in somebody's bedroom and it only costs them like $500 up and get started.
Do you feel like even the the equipment that's needed or the technology that's needed to produce music, has it gotten cheaper?
It has, cheaper in terms.
I know.
More
Okay, that's what I was about to say. I know much more economically efficient for.
Most definitely. Because at the end of the day, stop happening is people stop being, #1, you have to pay for everything.
Yeah.
As far as equipment. #2, you need the insurance.
And equipment was a lot bigger.
It was a
and
lot
now
bigger.
It's like
#3, and need a place to house the equipment.
Yeah.
So by the end of the day, the insurance paying for equipment, paying for the house the equipment, you already have an overhead that you have to worry about in this big old studio. For the studio.
Right.
So all that stuff, especially when we went into the whole economic downturn, in the mid 2000s,
Mid-2000s, yeah.
Dude, none of that became economically feasible for a person.
that make you feel like you're more connected to this community by having peace, the environment or the setting of a studio. You know what I mean? Because I feel like I'll speak like from a B perspective and where I'm coming from because it may not make sense. But early on, when B-boys find b-boying and breaking, they want to dress the part, so they go out to thrift stores and they look for the tracks, and it makes them it makes them feel like they're this community now. So does it make good that you own an MPC or a mix soundboard and the computer and all that stuff?
I think it used to be that way because honestly, when I got my MP, like I left all of the digital stuff for like 10 years. So yeah, I honed in, but it's because I wanted to learn to be a better musician, and drive and desire. And that's one thing I feel like is really lacking sometimes from some of the production now, even with some of these youngsters. It's great that you want to just get to it, but you need to study some music.
For sure.
To actually have an investment in making things sound good.
Yeah. We to produce
exactly. But see, we had a conversation in the 80s when hip hop first started and the drum machine started to get by everybody. You know what I'm saying? It was like, oh, y'all playing on instruments. What you got these kids, and it blew up. We're only going through another cycle, which is harp down too much on what's coming out. Yeah, maybe the content, but they're still speaking whatever truth.
Everything is still available for everybody. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we're in a point now where we owe it to the generation that's coming up underneath us, the ones that want to listen, and honestly teach them. Because I have the gift also has been given to me to be kind of in the middle of all these shifts and all these changes within hip hop. So I got to see, got to live through that entire era when it shifted to being jiggy with the chains, loud suits. When it went back to the backpackers and then came out of the backpackers to the trap rappers. All of it. Most Def said wherever hip hop is where the people are. So at the end of the day, we're only reflecting the times. We're only changing and manifesting this music with what's around us. Dude, I got this crazy shit. Man, you can somewhere. It's crazy stuff I got coming out soon, man. I respect, like, most definitely.
I was about to say, like, Tessa has talked about music. He's like, Ivy. Nobody knows about Ivy. Nobody knows about Ivy. So
thank that was like crazy. That was a beat I actually expected him to get on just because it's a crazy beat. Exactly. Came in, most shout out to Doe Man, Donna, the whole like C style, everybody. So when we started, we actually have been winning, especially Dinah and Killam, since January 1st. We started that record January 1st. We know record after 2 weeks, and basically just started playing the entire rollout after that. But the music done for a minute. But it was this energy, and I'll never forget. He hit me up. Must have been December 1st, like New Year's Eve. Yeah. Crazy enough, it was like, yo, we got it in. And it's just strange getting a text on New Year's Eve says, hey, let's get straight to it. Yeah. But I'm like, let me see if he's serious. So
passion,
like,
bro.
What's up with tomorrow? I'm saying it's New Year's Day. It don't matter. It's gonna be celebrating. Everybody gonna be asleep. We should be working. New Year's Day we stopped. You know what I'm saying? And went from there. But it was the energy that was different this time. We worked before. I DJ'd from very early on, and I was just tour DJ like 2 years. But both of us had grown to a particular in our artistry. made everything much easier. Exactly. You know, also shout out to Alex Faith, who mixed and engineered and recorded the project too. Who also did a project with last year called Simple Minds. Yo, get out. Hip hop. Like for real, for real. Apple, it's all over.
You have SoundCloud as well?
SoundCloud, yeah. 4015 Lamar. Yeah. It's not even a greenhouse anymore.
Explain that. I know what that is.
So 4015 Lamar is where Killam and Dinah kind of originated and birthed.
You guys were housed together.
Yeah,
right?
we were. It was basically an artist collective, all artists in one house. We would be flowing through there, you know what I'm saying, throughout the day. And a lot of it was more or less, what you call it, inspired by just almost having the same goal, name to just get art out there, you know. But Mario Robot Agency was based out of the Killam house.
Sergio.
We had Sergio, Silva,
Joel.
Dude, everybody you can imagine came to that house. I'm talking from hip legends like Trills and Dice Soho were from that house. It was crazy, you know what I'm saying? So, and then they've gone on to do their thing. Orange Calderon, like a bunch of people from that house. We had Tony Touch for my birthday party that one year.
Yeah, he came through Break Free as well.
Crazy, yo. And we all collaborated on that. And honestly, that was our family like really getting together, especially as two entities.
For sure.
But yeah, the greenhouse was a hub for, you know, a lot of artistry and, you know, careers kind of flowed through, or inspired by, or kind of intersected there. It was just a special.
It was a good foundation for everybody.
Made it white. The whole joint is white now. Shout out to and I appreciate it. Shout out to Mr. Trevino for letting us keep it green.
So you trying to say everything is white?
I don't know if I can.
I said it, bro. It's all right.
Hey, no, it is. I understand. Yeah. Hey, man. It's all right.
Twin.
We still love you, bro. Yeah, man. So it was a special place, but it bred so much, and honestly, that's where we cut our teeth at. You know, everybody can perfect their craft there, and that's what made it, you know, such an integral part of everybody's history.
But how many fights did you have? Who was on time with Ren?
It got easy. I'll say that. Honestly, I'll take it. You know, in my shoe, I apologize to people because like I was for a long time. Not even a long time, just because I was such a stickler, but I got in there and sacrificed everything I had for 2 years to that house, sure what's going to happen last.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, it got tinted times. We got in each other's faces, just, you know. But it had
to be though.
It had to be.
It had to be. That's part of the process. If that didn't happen, then it wasn't real.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? So
definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I'm with this guy. I don't know how many times.
Dude,
we don't even live together.
Something. Oh.
Yeah, you fight for it.
But yeah, Jawad Taylor. So Groid is basically it's almost electronic hip hop project. Yeah. But it's fusion. Because, you know, Jawad is a very accomplished trumpet player. He has his own group, Mothers, so he's internationally as well. And I realized there's a certain connection people have when traveling overseas and have come back inspired by the places they've traveled.
Oh man.
You know, and you with those people a little bit different than others, just because your energy is like, you know, almost a level to the point where, you know, your eyes open and you have a bit of a broader perspective of human beings. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they interact in places, being, you know, in certain situations normal people don't get to see and don't get to experience. So we actually connected after, I think, from Malta, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of years back. And we had been saying we needed to work on some stuff. He was like, all right, cool. But it was just fate bringing us together one night. I think I had like one of the worst shows ever. It was just bad. And I was like, crud. I just so happened to be on that show with me and didn't see me bomb or didn't see the show bomb. But, you know, we ended up basically connecting and we shot back to the studio straight after that. Like a week later, we just started laying joints. And I don't even know how to describe the music that we're making. It's new.
Yeah, that's why people gotta listen.
Yeah,
you want to find out?
Up.
Go listen.
Boy shoots from Negroid. And it's essentially an about face, because if you almost look at the word nigga and nigga, the way that we've actually used it and kind of, you know, compounded it in our culture, almost building it into a term of camaraderie, you know, and connectivity, term of endearment in certain situations. You know, of course, you have people that fought for that word to not lose, and which is completely understandable. The thing of it is, at some point, you have to take your power back, you know, and you have to and make them more or less work for you in a situation that shouldn't normally work. And I had to say, exactly, sampling, something from nothing. And it's a way of us building each other up, because you had to wait out.
You gotta use what you got. You gotta use what you got.
There you go. And it's identity at the end of the day. And we shut off from that because growth of anybody that has come from that place, black or brown, you know, and understanding that, yo, this music is the front to everything that's happening right now. So exactly where hip hop is. So we're like, all right, this is y'all's part of the conversation. This is going to be our piece over here. It's not super militant. It's not over the head, but it's very much awake and alive of what's happening. You can say music is all people are living in. You know what I'm saying? That are making, hopefully, you know. But and I hate it because art is the product in my mind because it already basically says we're gonna put you over here and we're gonna tell you everybody like of music as opposed to leaving it open for expression from anybody that wants to basically be invited in to listen.
Do you like when producers, musicians are very vocal about and like how they feel other people's music? Because and then where do you stand in that? You know, are you a very vocal person about music, or do you let the work speak for itself?
I usually I'm old school in that regard. I let my work speak. You know, my own personal thoughts and opinions are, you know, they're fine to be shared amongst people when I'm sharing them, but you know, you look at it, and a lot of times, especially musicians that are coming up in my era, you know, one of the hardest things to do is get like a post about your music. Yeah. You know, and what you were realizing is they have to buy into you as a person before they actually vest themselves in the music. It's almost transference, you know, and sometimes like you'll get into this place where you're like, oh, I post a picture of myself and it's like 200 likes. You post some music and it's like, oh, that's cool, that's great. You had a little job today. It's nice, buddy. You know, but you're not realizing it may be still more they don't know about you. You know what I'm saying? Why are you releasing this? Why does it matter? And that becomes where it becomes you vocalize things you think and you feel. Now everybody's so in your business. You know, before social media, we were very private people. But now, you know, some say, I think, shout out to Illmind, we share everything. We're in a sharing age and a sharing era. So either that was Illmind or it was Travis Scott. I've been watching a bunch of media lately, in you know, even other series, but we're in that era period now where people want to be invited into your space. You know what I'm saying, then we're very shunned. You don't offer them the reciprocity, you know, and if,
people aren't home.
I'm that way.
You know what? Like, feel like I understand both sides of it. I feel more so in the sense that it's ridiculous down to it, because if I call you,
it's not a direct impact to your life.
Precisely. If I can call you or text you and we talk on the regular, what matter that I follow you? You know what I'm saying? If I know I can always hit you up things that I may need, advice, whatever it may be, whether we follow each other or not shouldn't matter. Today, I understand why you did it, because you want people to pay attention to your work and your artistry. You know, if I'm following everybody, that's cool, but it's just to say, hey, do me a favor. It's a tit for tat thing. At the end of the day, you know, because decide to go, and if you decide to follow everybody decides to unfollow you, great, cool.
That proves your people and like
Cosmo.
But it's the relation trap, though. At the end of the day, you know, it's basically we're dealing with chin again because of the fact that nobody's actually been matured into social media yet because it's still so new. So you're still dealing with kids. Look at Donald Trump. He's a freaking child on Twitter. He's a child on Twitter with playing with grown men's toys, but he's a child on Twitter.
Son. Yeah, he's not actively on TikTok.
But kids,
no, I literally see some kids, and I actually have like nieces and nephews who are like, you know, like straight up, and I'm like, oh snap.
How about their friend, bro?
It's safe.
But you know, it can all stem from places as well. Like if it's either their mom or their dad blah, and you can attention, feel like that's the way to go about this life, and so they start to do it. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy place. Honestly, even with my son, like on it, because I want him to learn. You know what I'm saying? But like it's gonna make him want to do worse.
Exactly. Most definitely, and I
have no issue with him.
We know that from experience. Exactly how we were. Oh, I can't do this. Okay, cool. Or I'm gonna figure this out. You know, so if you let them have the experiences, of course, don't be a negligent parent. You know, I have my own kids, but like you monitor them, but you also have to understand like what they're actually doing. A transformation from what you were doing. Now it's in a different form and in a different way. So you let them learn in that way. You know, the balls, but also I can benefit them. You know, I want my kids to be entrepreneurs like me and their mom. You know what I'm saying? And I want them to own their own businesses and figure out how to work it. I love to be able to tell my kids by the time they start their own businesses and you know what I'm saying? Hey, I've been doing this social media thing for now 10 years. I'm a mature cat in the social media. I can tell you and better get you on how to do your promotions, how to get your ads here, who to hit, what pitfalls to avoid. All those things.
Like it's you post in the way after and
I think people should see it. But at the end of the day, I mean, you know, there's a conferences I respect, especially here within the city. And one of them, actual influences and things, basically kind of been talking to them and them being some of my friends. It comes down to your work, at the end of the day. If you're an influencer that's basically just on here, but actually giving anything back to the community that you're influencing, then what are you actually there for?
Right.
So guys, and run, that call themselves influencers, they're actually at schools, programs, they have they're mentors, and they're actually being effective in their community, as opposed to just saying, hey, this is a new thing, look at it, hey, all right, great, boost my following just so I can talk to you more. It's like, don't nobody hear that shit. I'm saying, at the end of the day, you give them credit for it. They catch on
so quick.
Right, that's why I don't really balk at the music as much anymore, because they really do let the cream of the crop rise. They really do, and they get behind it. Now, some of you are like, oh, this is such crap, this is great, but you gotta think about it. If this kid is popular, it's because there's a bunch of kids that feel like this. Listen to the message. You might be missing something. You know what I'm saying? It might not be for you, but it should be. If you're a human being, be listening. You should be wanting to know what's going on in the community around you. It's close-mindedness that honestly has us where we are right now. Sure, and I mean, I love when people like. My experience is when people don't like I make, you know what I'm saying? But they're brave enough and tell me, like, I really want to. Yeah, I understand everybody likes that. That's just not my bag, because a chance to have a conversation in. You know what I'm saying? And it may not be a conversation of, why don't you like my music? What do you like? You know what I'm saying? And then we can go into a whole nother realm of the place of connectivity. We may not even explore it if I've just been here sitting playing this dude beats that doesn't like for now. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so I have to do that not only with producers, but with other artists as well. Because I might play like a whole band of, boom guys like, I don't do boom bap. Oh, okay, cool. What do you do? As a DJ, I have, honestly, to be a good DJ, you have to, you know what I'm saying? It's balance there. And that really makes it a craft. And now, you DJs do both. They just play for the crowd to get down. Me, I love it so much that I have to introduce something. I tell you that this mixes with this.
Well, I would think too, as an artist, because DJs are artists. If you're up, you have to motivate. So you got to play what you like.
Exactly.
Because if not, it's gonna
there you go.
And then you're gonna fall out of love.
Precisely. At times when you might go and the crowd just either isn't the crowd or they just not what you with, but you got 3 hours left.
Exactly.
And you got to. Hey, it's just a gig that day. All right, I'm just getting paid. You want about my business. Sometimes it's just but it's also me perfecting the craft, because also I know. Okay, say for instance, I'm given this situation where I'm going to and they want country western music. Yeah. It's Saturday night in the city. But these guys that want country and western, these want trap music, people want 80s, these people want some funk, these people want soul. How am I going to mix all this up? That's when it gets fun. That's when it gets fun. When you're not pigeonholed, but you got to figure out how to make all this work in one room. Because then you start to see the eyes. You don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? You can mix in, remember, with, you know what I'm saying? With finesse, with Bruno Mars, and like, everything matches up. And you get to bring people out of that shell.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I dig DJ, you know? Yeah. Like, I shout out to Main Event, because Main Event, great DJ, at very open format DJ, but he makes everything, whether you could specifically target a song and sing that song, but the use song was, you have no choice but to give it up.
It's hard.
And so I agree with you on that. That's a true DJ, when you can definitely just twist it up and just everyone happy. Being yourself.
You talk about different.
Exactly.
Yeah,
in it, man. Most definitely. It's not even trying to please everybody. It's saying that more or less I'm going to consider you. You know what I'm saying? In this, because it's not just about me. It's about everybody in this room right here. That's how these from the early days of hip hop viewed it. It's about all y'all. Yeah, I'm playing these records, but at the end of the day, it's telling me
the one of the number one goals is to solve a problem. Yeah. So with music, DJs have to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, solve this problem. There's a lot of people solving other people's problems, but there's this one that's missing. How can I differentiate myself? Come in without
sacrificing yourself.
Exactly.
How can I make the party?
Exactly. And honestly, you don't enjoy yourself unless they enjoy themselves. That's how it was most of the time.
And I thought talking about fish. Dude,
they just gave us digital news. We don't eat freaking.
Wait, what?
We don't. So there's a video. So Jazzy Jeff was the first person that I saw actually testing it out. Good grief. He put me on because I had seen them, promoting, basically digital needles to where now it's a cutter. So there's no more wobble in your decks. Nothing gets blown. It's basically just reading almost Bluetooth at this point.
Wow.
And it's all laser.
I did not know that.
So, but it goes to say that the profession's not going to die. You're still going to have people that it'll get easier, but they're going to say, no, man, they'll want people
like
that actually are reading. Yeah. Dude,
like Tesla.
You see what happened with the cars?
Exactly. He's tripping. What he's getting, because his husband died on
Oh,
autopilot.
Yeah.
He take those nights.
Crazy. Oh yeah. Oh, I'd see that. Yeah.
because
He beat that. I'm gonna marry him.
It's
Bro.
crazy.
Especially this Minority Report. Remember how Minority Report was
yeah.
and how the cars were automated, or even what
That's
was it,
crazy.
iRobot as well?
iRobot.
And they did
iRobot
both those
Minority.
because I think about it a lot, man. The only inconsistency with traffic is the people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only variable that you actually have to worry about. You know. Now, when it comes down to like perfecting, equations and mathematics to get everything right, we've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah,
To be able to, you know what I'm saying?
Dude.
Dude, you gonna come up with a rap song? Yeah, bro.
Joe Rogan
Man,
podcast.
for that, son. Dude.
No, man. I mean, at this point, that fool, you never know what he's gonna do. So, Ivy, you better watch out.
Bro, if he jumps
better
on
on
no,
Ivy.
no. I remember, who was it? Pauly D? Is that his name? The dude off. Oh my god, there was this.
Yo, everybody's a dumb.
Yo, him, Paris. I just love their sets.
Is it true that that Drake is becoming DJ?
How?
You didn't hear it? No, I'm serious.
I'm just like, why? But you
No,
know
like
what?
I hear he's now like becoming a DJ and wants to get booked like DJ.
Why? Hey, what? Why do you want to do this? Because of the fact that he wants.
It's key that Tiesta, that money and
Yeah, and
you
it's
know.
like, let me get more fame and more attention than I already have. I just ego to me sometimes. Like sometimes super egocentric because everybody say, "Hey, I'm gonna train for like 6 months and then I'm on the road. Y'all need to take me to this competition."
buddy.
But that's Drake. But that's Drake. You
Yeah,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I'm gonna just jump in your space real quick because I got a nice face, and I'm halfway DJ, and I'm gonna learn what it took you 10 years to learn. I'm gonna jump in here and push some buttons.
It's because in his mind he's underrated everybody because of who he is.
Yeah, and that's great. But at the end of the day, man, real recognize the real. This is why
You know what?
I would say
Say
something
it.
now, but I
Say
can't.
it. Say it, bro.
Because of the fact that I still got to try to work with this lady later on.
Whatever. Like
But
you say, get that
there's
money.
certain artists out here, and these are like very popular musicians, rappers who become DJs and they suck.
Yeah.
They suck.
I like where this is
I
going.
mean, like beat smashing.
You need to pen plug or something.
What?
Like DJ.
No.
Especially
Jesus.
overseas, you'll see somebody just up there rocking, and you look behind, and there's no plugs.
Man, God, that would frustrate me. That's
You
me
makes you
out.
want to smack somebody.
Yeah, I can't do that.
That.
I definitely agree with
But I don't know.
you. It's a business at the end of the day. And we have to really regard business as amoral. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have no real, you have some ethics that are, practicing business. But at the end of the day, business is amoral. It carry with itself a responsibility to hold.
thing.
It doesn't do any of that. At the end of the day, business is there to pay one person and pay the other.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, and make sure that everybody gets what they're supposed to get based on this faulty value system. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we set it up. Basically for us to basically interact with each other on this level.
Right.
Only one level.
Right.
But come down to it and you think, shit. The people that genuinely love music and love what they do, the reason that we get so incensed behind things being so easy and it almost feeling like, all the joy gets sucked in the room because of the fact that what made you love what brought, the emotions that these songs and interacting with sounds in this way brought to you is all being taken away. You know what I'm saying? It's great that you have the instant gratification era, being able to get everything so fast, but if you're not actually absorbing it, just coming in and going straight back out, as music does, there's nothing that's being take golden era. You think about the way that the actual gold, is built up.
How artists can go though. That's why all artists, whether dancers, DJs, writers, whatever, that's why they come and go.
Yeah.
Because they got what they wanted, they out, and it just
There's very few that stay here to continue to contribute.
Yeah.
This is why Nipsey, rest in peace, will continue to be a martyr.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that he in the game,
Yeah,
but
substance.
but he gave to parts of the game. And he gave to different culture, pulled the around him like pencil. It wasn't like, all right, let me use you. You know what I'm saying? That's honestly what I hate about certain aspects of trap rap. You can hear certain cats, you like, bro, why? The boy base told you he didn't like music. I was just doing it because somebody told me to do it. And then all that it blew up because of the fact a bunch of kids that are bored out of their minds. Here's somebody different with another place to we're going to follow that because what us do because we're all manifested to be the same person. Like, it's like, dude, group thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy. And that's the one that we
you're
have
making
to
it
be
rain.
careful
I hear the rain. Boy, Ivy going in.
I think you create and I think
go in cycles, bro. Because, like me personally, it took me a long time to like 80s music. I hated the hair, I hated the culture, I hated the rock. When I was digging for records, I wouldn't dig for anything past 1977 most of the time. Because I knew 78, 79, Electronic Disco, and I'm like, and I knew that from having all the James Brown records early. Like, I had studied those eras coming up, I'm like, this was funk. About 78, Living in America and all that era, like, oh my God, please just stop. Madlib, Stone's Throw, the entire real funk movement, all two groups that never made it, that you never knew about, but were funkier than ever made it to the radio. Because a lot of times, in certain eras, that's what made disco so cheesy. Disco was more like era to me. You know what I'm saying? Every disco song that came out, maybe two of them joints, everybody can really get down to. The rest of them, especially if you ever watch Rockers, that movie Rockers, based on the dub movement in Jamaica. So movie, but they have this scene, toward the end, where this guy, they call it soul music there. Oh, you're playing all this soul music, but it was disco they were talking about. And so they were going into clubs realizing that this was the sound predominantly taking over on the island. And they were like, what the heck is this mess? You know what I mean? We got the real dub sound, the movement, and the real feeling, and some music right here, but y'all really dancing is trash. You know? So they go in there, bust up the place, and they just start doing their own jigs to music, grabbing the ladies, and it's a crazy scene. It's the same. Exactly. They painted it perfectly. Because at the end of the day, you have only so many things to kind of pop out of this era, especially out of the era of music that we're in right now, where it's like, oh, great. I remember waiting every other month something dope to drop. You know what I'm saying? And now it's like, okay, album sound like his album, sound like his album, sound like his album, sound like his album. The only difference between y'all is you're rich, you're just getting on, everybody else you, and you're about to be a teen idol. Great. But at the end of the day, all y'all sound exactly alike. That's why we miss these old heads of music. No, we don't music. That's the thing. Because at the end of the day, the era we came from, all you little cats rapping, they all had different styles had it to us. Y'all would have all had different sounds had it been unto us. Y'all would have been actually competing with each other rather than just sitting in the same
you take a look back, let's just talk about the 90s era. The important part of that about the 90s era was too different.
Thank you, Father Toss.
That's it. It was too different.
First, you remember Ghostface? Catch anybody.
And so, in today's world, like, no one is advertising that.
No,
it's popularity.
It is.
Integrity is lost, originality is lost, but popularity is what's important.
And what's winning, but it's winning and killing them at the same time.
I 1,000%.
If we even about the way that suicide rates actually goes up, social media was introducing to the populace. Like, we didn't know anything about that. You know what I'm saying? Especially coming in with our eras, it's not that it wasn't happening, but the predominance of it, people killing themselves because you're getting enough likes today.
It's nuts, man.
I've seen it.
I know. Yeah.
It's like if you go check,
only if you were in
I remember,
your messages and you answer.
It sounds crazy, and it may not make sense to y'all, but I remember being on a plane and I was traveling overseas. Just replay thought of social and what it is and what it goes, and like, I felt like God gets breakdown of social media. And so stick with me here. So I remember in my notes, I have it in my notes, but I remembered off the top of my head, like, break down so and then show. So is care, it's my show. So show. And then me, it's all about me, and then dia is day in Spanish. So it's like every day, I don't care what you say. This is yeah. I mean, it's in my notes, but I get chills because I with that down head and just this is true.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look at them on the work to tune and they to make it boom. And it's through basic
you gotta be strong in this day and age, honestly, to not get